We're back, people, and today we're bringing down film on the Miami Dolphins offense versus the Chargers. A disappointing loss for the team, 2 back-to-back losses. The offense did not look good again in this one. I think it was for different reasons than it was against the Niners. They had a lot of missed opportunities versus the Niners, whether that was Tua missing or just some miscommunications. I think in this one, it was more of the coaching. They just got out-coached, out-schemed. Nothing was open the entire game. Receivers did not create any separation. I think it showed Tua's limitations. Obviously, I still believe in Tua. I still think he's a good quarterback. But Tua's limitations are his ability to create off script. He's not a super athlete at the position. I think the only quarterbacks that would have been successful in this game are like the Mahomes, Allens, the guys that can really create off script, because nothing on script was open. This is why Tua had some success running the ball, because down the field, nothing was being opened up. Just out-schemed. Great game plan coming to the game by the Chargers. Dolphins come out, try to take a shot down the field off the rip. I don't mind this. Obviously, his first read right here is to Waddle, but Waddle's pretty much covered. He creates a little bit of separation from the corner that's in man, but the linebacker's in the throwing lane, and then this side corner is coming off to take away this. So I think Tua makes the correct read to throw the wheel one-on-one versus the safety on Hill, and he makes a pretty good throw. Just the safety's in a good spot, stays over the top. He knows he's going to be threatened by Hill's speed, so he just stays there, and the ball just gets tipped off their fingertips by the defender there. So good play by the Chargers defense. I think one thing that Tua did well in this game was throw the ball well deep. Like, most of his deep balls weren't really underthrown. I know that was a lot of people's issues with him, but his issue in this game was not underthrowing the ball deep. Maybe that one could have been a slightly farther ahead or thrown a little more with more touch to allow Hill to run underneath it, but right there, still pretty accurate. I think this was a problem. The Dolphins kept trying to push the ball down the field. They didn't go for any easy completions. They didn't try to get the offense in rhythm. I think they just had like a stubborn offensive game plan, and they just didn't adjust to what the Chargers were doing, because they came out, they ran a lot of zone match coverages. They doubled, they pressed, they played very physical, and no illegal contacts were really called all game until the end, even though there should have been some more called. But they just came in with a great game plan, and the Dolphins just never adjusted until pretty much the game was over. The Dolphins offense is just a very rhythmic-based, momentum-building type of offense. And when they come out and just instantly, the receivers don't get any separation here. The corners did a great job. They tried to come up here. They press Waddle. And even though this is a good ball by Tua, it's accurate, thrown out away from the DB, gives Waddle a chance. The DB does get physical and might be able to get called with, illegal contact on the field, maybe some pass interference, physical at the point. But they're letting them play in this game. And this is a good throw with good timing. The ball's just dropped, and it's just good coverage by the defense. They came out physical, and obviously I'm expecting the Dolphins to do this. This is what they always do, throwing these in-breakers with timing. Hill wasn't open either. Asante Samuel did a great job just sitting on these routes. You could tell they watched a lot of film, and they knew the Dolphins' route concepts because they were all over this. And I just wanted to see the Dolphins make an adjustment with some outbreakers later in the game, let the receivers get to work. Because, they only usually let the receivers use like 3 different releases. Don't let them go too off script with their out running, but sometimes you just got to do that to throw these defenses off. Tua will get a lot of hate for this game just because of the stat line, and that's like the nature of being the quarterback position. But I thought he actually played much worse versus the Niners, if I haven't said that already. Like, his game last week, he was just missing throws. But I actually think he was pretty accurate when he was able to make his throws. There was just no one open the entire game, and that just limits a quarterback like Tua, because he doesn't have the greatest off-script ability. Like right there, that is throwing perfect timing in between the zone coverages right at the stick, right into Tyreek Hill's hands, and he just drops it. So they come out, they almost get a deep ball in the first one, then he throws a ball to Waddle in a tightly contested window. He drops it as well, and then it'll come out on the third down. He makes a good throw with good timing versus zone coverages. They come out, running cover 2 here. He reads this defender start to carry and get upfield. He's just reading this hips right here, and he sees his hips facing perpendicular like that with the receiver, throws it with perfect timing just to drop. And I knew once I saw the Dolphins offense come out like this, I knew they were just going to be out of sync again. The timing was just off, and they just didn't make any adjustments to better attack what the Chargers were doing. The Dolphins' favorite RPO concept also did not really work at all in this game. The glance, the wheel, the flat. He tries to get the ball to Tyreek Hill here. Once he sees this defender right here, this safety, go out towards the wheel, he makes the correct decision to throw it to Hill, but he's just no separation versus Michael Davis. They just played this press. They understood the assignment perfectly. Like, look, everything is taken away. And this ball is thrown pretty well. It hits Tyreek Hill in the chest. but he's just not able to hang on all the way to the ground. And this just was a big issue in this game. The defense knew exactly what was coming. McDaniel does love to run a lot of the same concepts. He's ran this concept so many times this year, but with so many different variations. But it was just too predictable, this game. Everything, just like you could see it coming pre-snap, what the play was going to be, just based on pre-snap alignment. You see the tight end tight, this receiver gets a little tight too. The glance is very likely. The corner is playing for it. You can tell he knows what route is coming. He doesn't bite to the outside split release at all, and it's just taken away. So a big issue in this game. I didn't know. Like most quarterbacks, I don't think would have been successful with how little separation was being created and just no easy completions at all in this game. The only quarterbacks that would have been successful, I think, are like Mahomes, Allen, the guys who just create off script with their legs the entire games. They can be successful, and that's just what Tua's limitation is. Obviously, people are gonna have a problem with that. I don't have if that's your criticism of his game. Yeah, I agree. Like, he has his limitations, but he still throws the ball with accuracy, with timing. And I just don't think that was the issue overall. So, I mean, obviously, once I turned on the film, I didn't see a single receiver open the entire game. It looked like the 2021 team. The passing game just had to work for every single yard. The ball had to be thrown with so much timing. The linebackers were gaining a lot of depth. This was a pretty good job by Tyreek Hill selling vertical hard to get the linebacker to gain just enough depth, break. But even he's sticking on it. Like, linebackers are doing a pretty good job in coverage here, They drop into their too deep shell, playing cover 2 here. They have nothing to attack the middle of the field, so Tua just has to get the ball out with timing at the sticks. Tyreek Hill is pretty much the only option he has at this point, and he makes a good throw, good timing, gets it right in front of the linebacker. He's just reading. He likes this matchup with the Tampa 2 linebacker carrying deep, hit it underneath. So this is one of the positive offensive plays from this game. There's obviously going to be a few more, but overall, just way out of timing. I think just the coaching was the biggest issue for this team in this one. This is one of the Dolphins' missed opportunities in this game. The Chargers defense actually, they ran this type of look a lot, basically a cover 6, match type of look where they have this outside quarters defender just man everywhere he goes, matching up here, and then this safety who's a quarters is gonna break down on these in breakers. They came out with this game plan. He was sitting on these routes. You could tell this is dead right away to Waddle. There's no chance. He has no separation here. The safety's ready to break on it. And Tua makes a good read, hitting the post behind it. Throws it with a bunch of anticipation. So Tyreek Hill hasn't broken yet. This means they need to be on the same page perfectly. Because if they do, this is a touchdown. But Tyreek Hill just never sees it the entire way. If he sees it, there's a good chance this is a touchdown. Because, maybe the pass is off. It's hard to tell just because Tyreek Hill is slowing down the entire time. We can watch from the other angle, kind of get a freeze on it, like when the ball is right here. I think if Tyreek Hill is full accelerating with the angle towards the ball, I think he has a good chance of catching this, but he just doesn't see it the entire time. Just a big missed opportunity, whether that was on Tua or Tyreek just not seeing it. Miscommunication, could have been multiple of things, but you just got to make these opportunities happen when you get them. The O-line also didn't have a great day, especially in obvious passing opportunities, and the running game was pretty much non-existent again. The Chargers have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL, and they had some good runs in the game. They just barely had opportunities to do it, barely any chances, but there were so many runs that just went for nothing or negative as well. And here, they get sacked on 3rd and long. Armstead did not have a good game. He looked like he was not healthy. He's laid out of his stance here. Tua had no shot, 3rd and long. He doesn't get into his kick step. This is just sloppy technique. He's trying to recover to get to the outside, and Van Noy just hits him with a nasty spin move, so you got to give it to the defender there. But just many opportunities, especially on 3rd and long, where they drop their linebackers deep, take away the sticks in the middle of the field. The Dolphins, I think this is a big problem. McDaniel just wasn't taking any easy completions. I think that's what the biggest difference. Like the Chargers, they had a lot of play action, lots of boots, get Herbert out on the move, throwing the ball quickly to the flat, and it was just wide open the whole time. Herbert obviously made a lot of great throws, but they also made it very easy for him on early downs, getting him in manageable situations, and the Dolphins offense could not do that for Tua. This touchdown, there's not really much to break down here. Wilson, before he got hurt, actually was running pretty well. Obviously, the fumble here. Armstead kind of hits it back like it's a scrum, and Tyreek Hill just gets the ball, runs it in for a touchdown. This play was Honestly, I saw this and I was laughing during the game. It was pure comedy. Like, obviously, somehow this will be the Dolphins' first touchdown. Good heads up play by Tyreek, being there, being ready. This is also pretty funny that he's celebrating and Tyreek Hill's going. Tua cheering him on, pointing, knows it's going to be a touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of the highlights of the games for the team. Then it was just pure luck. One of the only successful running games for the Dolphins in this game. And it was by Jeff Wilson, and then I think he ends up getting hurt on this play and not playing a single snap after this, which is unfortunate because he was actually doing, obviously he fumbled, but like most of his runs were hitting pretty well, and the Dolphins needed to run the ball consistently in this one, I think, to have a good shot of winning and opening up the passing game, because they just were not respecting the run at all, and the Dolphins obviously are not the most successful running team in the NFL, one of the better passing teams by stats. They do a good job here working on, this gap scheme run, getting out, pressing up to the line of scrimmage, and they just create a huge hole up front, and he's just working off this block. Once he sees the tackle reach up into the linebacker, Wilson breaks off of it. He needs to work on his ball protection, though, because he almost got stripped there again. At this point in the game, it's 5 minutes left in the second quarter. I kind of just want to see the Dolphins do something new, make some adjustments. Obviously, coming out of the halftime is when you really want to see it. But this is kind of just a play that I feel like is the story of the game. They try to, go to their play action. They get the boot out, but they just blitz off the edge here. He's late getting to it, so he feels pressure right away. And they still try to go back to, their combos, running, an in-breaker, another one carrying down the field. And they just have it locked up to this side. Like, look how they play this. They pass this off perfectly off the motion. Dolphins do this all the time, and Chargers clearly just came with a game plan. They have this DB just take away Waddle's wheel route, and he's even cutting it back to the inside, but that's not going to get open. They get instant pressure, and there's just no chance on this play because the motioning corner is just now in perfect positioning to take away Tyreek Hill, and they have help over the top. And then this safety is sitting on anything that's going to come over the middle to Waddle, and there's just no chance on the play, whether that was to pressure. They got out schemed, and receivers, no separation. This was just the story of the game wrapped up into one play. One of the Dolphins' only third down, long conversions in this game. They've obviously been really good at this all season long, and they come out and they basically face a cover one robber look. And this is one of the only times they were able to attack the middle of the field, even though they probably shouldn't have, just because this robber safety is trying to take this away. And this is one of the really good throw by Tua. Great anticipation. He's already, look at him throwing this. Throws Wilson open. He sees that the safety is kind of just sitting on it. And this is one of the only, they just still could have made plenty of adjustments, because once you motion this guy in, I would love to see, more of an outbreaker. Look at this space that this creates all to this outside. Sherfield, in this situation, would love to see him just run a 10-yard out, break this to the outside, but they just run another in-breaker behind it. They were just prepared for this, and even though it's completed, it was still a good covered call by the defense to take it away. It's just the safety got slightly out of position. Just no adjustments, still trying to throw the ball deep down the field with your best receivers. It's just taken away. Look at these safeties. Look at Tyreek Hill. They have a deep safety playing. This is 1st and 10, by the way. 1st and 10, corner playing outside leverage. They're pressing him. They have no help over the top. This corner, they leave him more on an island, but he's playing high inside leverage. You're just having him run a route to try to break this to the outside. They have this all locked up. Nothing's open until late over here. This is kind of open, but this is because they all ran into each other. And at this point, Tua is held on the ball for 3+ seconds because nothing is open, and they're running these deep concepts down the field. Also, guards getting beaten instantly, tackles, so much pressure. Tua just has to throw it away. This was just, I just really just didn't like how they just weren't giving any completions. And then both the O-line did not look good. Robert Jones was getting beaten all day long. Tua running for his life. Good decision to throw it away, but just need to, come out, get the offense in rhythm, because it's a very rhythm-based offense. Allow them, to get comfortable, run some more, boots, get the ball into your playmaker's hands. No design touches at all. No screens. There was one screen thrown to Hill, and it was on a 3rd and 19. Come out, do those things earlier. Get you in more advantageous positions. Get the ball into your playmaker's hands. Obviously, they haven't done a lot of that this season, but you need to do that, to throw off your tendencies, mix things up, because the Dolphins have a lot of tendencies. I've broken down every game they've watched, and they run a lot of the same concepts, and now that teams are focused on it, you got to be able to make adjustments. I know they were really taking away to the middle of the field. But a lot of teams have done that in the past too, and they made adjustments. But just for some reason in this game, it just seemed like stubborn play calling, and the receivers really struggled too in this one. And obviously not Tua's best game, but I just think overall most QBs would have struggled with the little separation that was created. You really can tell just Asante Samuel Jr. really watched the film on this one and the play calling, because Dolphins have run this concept a bunch. They motion Hill to this side. They basically have who's ever here, Waddle in this scenario, just running the clear out over the middle of the field, just clear everything out, and then they run Hill in behind it. And so many times this season, they either, run the dig behind it or like a curl, and this has just been wide open. Versus this type of coverage too, running like versus cover 6. But this time, Samuel knows it's coming. They're not threatened by this outside breaker at all. If Hill is just allowed to run a comeback or an out, this is, a completion, or a very much higher chance of completion. But Samuel is just taking this away, and it basically no chance to go with it. Tua ends up missing, but I mean, if he threw it where they were actually going to be, it probably would have been picked because it was so covered. So yeah, just really don't like this play call. Look, they keep going with the play action. Tua's got to go back to his right, then come back to his left. Obviously, this has worked a lot throughout the season, but the Chargers clearly game planned for this. You got to make this adjustment. They didn't. It was way too late in the game when they finally started doing some stuff that I liked. And, really, really need to bounce back in the coming weeks. I still think the Dolphins, people are freaking out. They still have a chance to make the playoffs. I haven't given up hope on that. 2 losses and the fan base is up in flames. Tua still has an 8-2 record on the season, and wins and losses are not a QB stat. It's a team stat, and the team has just not played good the past 2 weeks, including Tua. I'm not making, people will say excuses. It's just context to the game. Tua played bad last week. This week, I don't think he played, the stats might show that he played terrible. I don't think he played that terrible. I just don't think he had any opportunities. Last week he had opportunities, missed them. This week, no opportunities, and he just has his limitations were shown. Still think he's a good quarterback, though. 3rd and 9. Chargers come out in a cover 3 look. Nothing really open again. I mean, if he waits here, if he plays with a little more, but the reason he doesn't throw this corner to Waddle behind this is because his read here is to Gesicki on the inbreaker, and he's just throwing with anticipation, so that's why he doesn't see Waddle. This is one of the only opportunities where, this was probably open. And I think he reads cover 3. He sees middle of the field safety. He reads that they're more playing like a zone look here. So he's expecting this corner to sink on this corner route just because he's in a deep third. But he sticks close to Gesicki, and then that's why it gets broken up. Also throwing a little bit behind him, a miss there for Tua in this one. This was one of the opportunities I think he would have wanted back just if he held on to it a little bit more. But that's not his read in this. So yeah, good play by Samuel. Even if Tua did throw it a little bit better, it still would have been incomplete because it was not open at all. Tua made some good decisions to scramble in this game. His running ability this is the most he's ran in a while. They try to, come out still running these deep downfield vertical and in-breaking concepts. Tyreek is just taken away. They have a guy playing low on him. They have a guy playing high. There's just no opportunity to throw this corner behind it, especially because this corner is sinking to this. And they have, they ran cover 6 all game. And the Dolphins faced a lot of cover 6 this season. A lot. And they've exposed it. The Ravens ran cover 6 the entire game. The Bills ran a lot of cover 6, and they had some big plays in that one. But here, they just had the safety sit on these routes. Waddle is able to create a little separation from the corner this time, and he's ready to rip it. But this safety is going to sink. If he throws this is probably picked or at least hit at the catch point. Makes a good decision to pull this back, running. Makes the guy miss a little bit there, pick up some yards. A fair criticism to his game is, the limited athleticism. Obviously, I don't want to see him running a bunch anyways, but he did show off a little bit of the athleticism. If you want to, people say they want a super athletic quarterback. I can understand that. It won't ever be a huge strength to Tua's game, but that was pretty much the only chance, any quarterback had of winning in this game was with their legs because nothing was coming open at all. One of the biggest reasons for optimism in the future with this offense is Tyreek Hill, obviously, being a deep threat because Tua did throw this deep ball well. This is a good placed ball. The corner obviously falls down, but I think if he falls down, this is still good placement away over the shoulder. Tyreek Hill really doesn't have to slow down. and he gets, the walk-in touchdown. This is him hurt too. He's hurt in this game. Tyreek Hill was a warrior. But another reason for optimism is I think Tua is just, even though he hasn't played great, especially statistically, the last 2 games, like last week it was more of an inaccuracy issue, and then this week, just not really much to throw to when it came to separation. I think Tua is still seeing the game pretty well. He's still throwing with a lot of anticipation, still processing coverages pretty well. Just things haven't been, on the same page as an offense. But that's one of the reasons for optimism is the biggest issue with Tua hasn't been him seeing everything mentally. And usually with a quarterback, mental is so huge. If they start struggling mentally, that's when I start to worry. But I don't think that was the issue with Tua. He sees them go middle of the field here. He gets the one-on-one look. And once he sees the middle of the field, he knows he has one-on-one to Hill. And he's taking this every day of the week on 3rd and 5, like as he should. Deep ball down the field, and just big touchdowns were the story of this game for the Dolphins when they actually, got some looks offensively. In the game, Dolphins only down 6 at this point. They have a chance to win, but it's 3rd and 10. They run some more deep concepts down the field, and Robert Jones just gets absolutely destroyed again. Like, no chance for Tua to really do anything. Everyone's running to the sticks, as they have to. The only one he can really throw it to is this guy right here. He would have thrown it with a bunch of anticipation, but he's also has a free runner coming at him right now, so it's pretty much chalked at this point. They have the deep corner behind it. They actually had a chance here if Jones holds up just a little bit to either throw this or throw the corner to Hill, layer this behind these defenders. There's a chance for this. This could come open, and this is also open to the backside. Sherfield, this is like one of the only times where they've gotten the look that they've kind of wanted with the curl defender. The zones don't squeeze onto it because they play a lot of zone match. But here they're just in pure zone to this side. And they finally, that's why they pick zone to parts so much this year, just sitting down these routes. But there was just no chance. Tua's already getting sacked before Sherfield even breaks. Plus, he was reading to this field side first. And then O-line did not look good in this game at all. I was asking for a play like this the entire game. They're still only down 6. They still have a chance to win this game. Just an option route. Line up Waddle or Hill in the slot. At this point, I was thinking Waddle because Hill was hurt. They run a lot of zone match. Have the person on the outside clear it out, and then you get a one-on-one. Just have them run an option, and they're playing hard inside leverage. They've been playing hard inside leverage the entire game. Just have him break to the outside 5 yards, get an easy completion. Even if he gets tackled as he catches it, you still get 5 to 6 yards. They can create separation when they're playing so hard to the inside like this. And then Waddle's still able to break a tackle and turn it into, 19, 20 yards right there. Like, Dolphins need to do this type of thing all game. This is what the Chargers are doing offensively. Just getting the ball out quickly, making things easy for Herbert. They got in rhythm, and then Herbert made some outstanding throws when they mattered. Dolphins never really got those opportunities for Tua until it was way too late in the game. And they just had so many, dumb plays offensively, whether they that be from the play calling, the O-line. Tua had some misses too, but I don't think it was bad as the stat line suggests. And then the receivers didn't create too much separation, and I don't even think it was too much their fault. I just think it had more to do with the play calling. At this point, the game's pretty much over. They're down 9, but they finally get the illegal contact that they want. They have been getting pressed all game, Hill and Waddle, and they finally, get him pushing Hill 10 yards down the field. And yeah, they were looking for that call pretty much the entire game. Still, at this point, I don't mind them, running these deep concepts because they're down 9 and there's only 2.5 minutes left. So got to take your chances now because you got to get an onside kick. They have no timeouts left. So, but would have liked to see some illegal contacts definitely called earlier in the game. Last play that I'm going to break down, the last offensive play of the game for the Dolphins before they kick a field goal. Didn't really end up matter. Obviously, it didn't matter because they didn't recover the onside kick, but just too many, with the Hill, he didn't see the ball earlier in the game. This time, Waddle doesn't see the ball. He gets a one-on-one shot. I think Tua makes a good decision to throw this, and I think this ball is pretty good. The ball lands in bounds. If Waddle was looking, he has a chance to make this catch. He just never saw the ball in the air. Just a story of basically the past 2 weeks being not on the same page, miscommunications, not looking for the ball. Play calling was bad earlier in the game. Tua had some misses last week. This week, I don't think accuracy was the biggest issue. I just don't think he had too many opportunities to make plays with the accuracy because just the windows were super tight. He did have some misses overall, like the one I showed earlier with Samuel. I didn't show the intentional grounding that he had at one point. It was more on the O-line just getting beat instantly, and Tua kind of just had to throw it away. It just obviously you just want to see him maybe throw it away to receiver, but the O-line got absolutely destroyed, and he was gonna. Or they just brought a blitz, and they just had a miscommunication. It was just a bad day overall from the offense. No one had a great day other than probably Tyreek Hill. Just obviously the narratives, like people are coming to the like I always thought Herbert a very good quarterback. I've always liked Tua. I've always thought Tua is a good quarterback as well. And I knew this narrative was gonna have like people trying to be like, oh, they're satisfied that Herbert like got this win just because of all the hate he was getting. And I was like, that is fair that you're satisfied by that, but like at the same time, where was that energy for Tua when he got all that hate in his first 2 years, and people weren't satisfied when he was getting his success? But it is what it is. Overall, I still think the Dolphins can make the playoffs. I'm pretty optimistic still. They still have a very solid chance. We'll see what happens. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.